The Greedy Gluttons event is starting around the world in Pokemon Go. Today we're running through some tips and tricks for that event to help you guys take full advantage. Quick note though, we're not going to be discussing any tips for the Team Go Rocket Takeover event, which is going to be happening next week, the 14th to the 17th. We will have a separate tips video for that event, including tips about how to get Shadow Mewtwo, how to get a Rocket Radar, how to best take advantage if you've been stacking Rocket Radars, what are the new Shadow Shinies, new Shadows, and all of that. That will drop sometime this Sunday. Now the Greedy Gluttons event is going down November 9th, 10 a.m. to November 17th, 8 p.m. Bonuses during the event, you're going to get half egg incubator distance for the first 3 eggs you hatch if you incubate them through the Pokemon Go egg hatching widget. Really weird bonus, but it looks like they're just trying to promote people using that egg hatching widget, which is available on iOS and Android. Wild spawns during the event will be Alolan Rattata, Alolan Raticate, Golbat, Swinub, Pelipper, Gulpin, Bidoof, Bibarel, Skolvit, and rare spawns for Lickitung, Snorlax, and Swallow. We'll have exclusive 7-kilometer eggs you can get during this event, which will hatch Cherubi, Gibble, and Munchlax. Note you need to get new eggs to hatch these Pokemon. Any of your old 7-kilometer eggs will not hatch these. 1-star rage during the event will be Mankey, Swinub, Spoink, and Tepig. 3 stars will be Snorlax, Mawile, Swalot, and Sharpedo. 5 stars, of course, will be the new Guzzlord, which we will cover if it's any good in a bit. And finally, Mega Raids for Mega Gyarados. We also have some exclusive research going down during the event. Starting with the field research tasks you can find at Pokestops, include use 3 berries to help catch Pokemon for a Cherubi, an Execute, or a Swirlix encounter. Walk 1 kilometer for 2 pineapple berries or 3 raspberries, and give your buddy 15 treats for 1,000 Stardust. There will also be timed research, which you can complete only during the event. Make sure you complete this before the event's over. Tasks include walk 1 kilometer, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it gets you a bunch of different berries, as well as 2 Snorlax encounters and a Poffin. Honestly, pretty easy time research, you're just gonna have to walk a lot. With the event details out of the way, let's get into the tips, starting with the best wild spawns. We actually have some decent ones during this event. First of all, Alolan Rattata evolving into Alolan Raticate, and Alolan Raticate's also spawning. Alolan Raticate is good in some limited Great League metas, like the Willpower Cup right now. You can even use it in the Kanto Cup and other cups. Alolan Raticate also gets you 300 Stardust every time you catch it, so great to grind Stardust. We also have Golbat, and Golbat is also good in some limited Great League metas and decent in the open leagues. You can also evolve Golbat all the way into Crobat, and Crobat is not a bad Ultra League Pokemon. Finally, Golbat gets you 300 Stardust per catch since it is a stage 1 Pokemon. We have Swinub evolving into Mamoswine. Mamoswine does have some play in the Master League, as well as Mamoswine being one of the best Ice-type raid attackers, especially in its Shadow form. Great to grind candies and XL candies for this Pokemon. We have Pelipper, which Pelipper is not a bad Great League Pokemon by any means, as well as getting you 300 Stardust per catch. We have Bidoof, which evolves into Bibarel. Bibarel is not a bad Great League Pokemon for some limited Great League metas, as well as Bidoof being a Ditto disguise. Bibarel is also spawning in the wild, which we already talked about is any good, but it's also a stage 1 Pokemon, getting you 300 Stardust per catch. And finally, Skolvit, which we haven't seen in the wild in a long time, evolving into Greedent. Greedent is a great Great League and Ultra League safe swap Pokemon. Lickitung will also be a rare spawn in the wild. Lickitung is one of the best Great League safe swaps there is right now. You're gonna need XL candies for this Pokemon, but great to find this Pokemon in the wild. We have Snorlax as well. Snorlax being not a bad for the Ultra League and for the Master League. Great to get XL candies. And finally, Swalot, which is a stage 1 Pokemon, getting you 300 Stardust per catch. A lot of stars to be gained during this event. With the wild spawns out of the way, let's get right into the raids and what are going to be the best raids during this event. In the 1-star raids, there's really nothing notable, but in the 3-star raids, we do have Snorlax. Now, we just talked about Snorlax being a good Ultra League and Master League Pokemon. We also have Mawile in the 3-star raids. Mawile is going to be not bad for the Great League now with this recent move update of Fairy Wind and some limited Great League metas, as well as Mawile having a Mega Form in the future. Finally, the last notable one would be Sharpedo, which Sharpedo does have a Mega Form in the future, so you can grind a good IV one through the raids. In the Mega Raids, we have Mega Gyarados. Mega Gyarados being one of the best Water type and Dark type raid attackers in the game right now, and a great Pokemon to have Mega Energy for, but we did have a raid day recently, so you probably have a lot of energy already. But the new Ultra Beast, Guzzlord, is also in the 5-star raids. Let's talk about if this Pokemon is going to be any good in Pokemon Go and worth powering up. Guzzlord is going to be a Dark and Dragon type Pokemon. Base stamina of 440, base attack of 188, and base defense of 99, super low defense, with a max AP at level 50 of 3,264. For fast moves, you can learn Snarl and Dragon Tail, and for charge moves, Brutal Swing, Dragon Tail, Crunch, and Sludge Bomb. Let's start with raids. As far as raids go, Guzzlord is going to be alright. In terms of a Dragon type raid attacker, not very good, ranked 27 overall, but as a Dark type, number 8 overall. It learns Brutal Swing, and Brutal Swing is just such a good Dark type raid attacking move that it can somehow overcome its low attack. Honestly, I would still not invest in it though. There's a lot of better, cheaper options. What about for PvP? First of all, to get a Guzzlord for the Great League, you actually need to trade down for it. Since the catch GP is too high, you're gonna have to trade with a low level friend to try to bring down those IVs and bring it into the Great League CP range. But if you can get a Guzzlord for the Great League, it's actually gonna be pretty good. Run the moveset Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, and Sludge Bomb for coverage gives it about a 50% win ratio. And it's very similar in the Ultra League as well, getting about a 50% win ratio with the exact same moveset. However, you can run different movesets on this thing and have different varying performance against different Pokemon. However, in the Master League, unfortunately, its CP is just too low and there's a lot of better Dragon types than it, so I would avoid it there. However, Guzzlord does not seem like a terrible introduction to the Great Great League and Ultra League meta, and also a not half bad dark type raid attacker. Okay, candy. As always, I like to cover the best ways to grind candy during these types of events. Number one, of course, pineapple berries. Regular pineapple berries giving you ×2 catch candy, and silver pineapples giving you ×2 3.44. You can also mega evolve a mega Pokemon during this event to get extra candy. Depending on the level of the mega you have, you'll get extra candy, XL candy, and XP for catching Pokemon that share the type with the mega. What mega should we be evolving during this event? Well, I would go myself with a normal type mega, as there is a lot of normal type Pokemon spawning during the event, mainly all the meta relevant ones. Normal type megas include Mega Pidgeot, Mega Lopunny, and Mega Kangaskhan. You could also go with a poison type, as there is a couple poison type Pokemon in the wild, so going with something like a Mega Venusaur or a Mega Gengar or a Mega Beedrill is not the worst thing. But the final strategy you could go with is just mega evolve for the raid boss. Specifically, we have Guzzlord, so I'd mega evolve a dragon or a dark type Pokemon to get extra XL candy for Guzzlord, since candies for Ultra Beasts and Legendaries are not easy to come by. Another strategy to get a lot of candy is going to be to trade Pokemon after or during the event. When you trade away a Pokemon, you get 1 free candy, and if the distance between the 2 Pokemon being traded is more than 100 kilometers, you can get 2 or even 3 extra candies and a guaranteed XL candy if you're above level 31. Take any of the Pokemon that are meta relevant with XL candy during this event, find a friend who has some distance Pokemon and trade them away. Even if you find a friend who does not have distance Pokemon, still trading away Pokemon has a small chance to get you an XL candy, so it's always worth trading in Pokemon Go. Finally, transfer any Pokemon you want a lot of candies for on Petal Spotlight Hour, which is going to be November 22nd from 6 to 7 p.m. There's going to be a 2x transfer candy bonus, so save any of these Pokemon, transfer them, then you'll get extra candy. Now, the 7-kilometer eggs are going to be all the rave in this event, hatching specifically Cherubi, Gibble, and Munchlax, all 3 with shiny chance. Having such a small egg pool gives you a pretty high chance of hatching that new shiny Munchlax. Well, honestly, I would actually say right now that I don't think 7-kilometer eggs are that worth hatching, and that's because it's so hard to get a lot of incubators. The boxes in the shop right now are terrible, and unless during this event they change into something absolutely amazing and worth the value, you're really honestly not getting a good value on buying incubators. I think you can buy like $25 box and you get like what, maybe 20 incubators? Not 100% sure. Honestly, it just feels like a really big waste of money, and on top of that, Gibble already had a community day, and Munchlax is not even that useful of a Pokemon other than being kind of a new shiny, and Snorlax is spawning in the wild. So personally, like, unless you're a real hardcore shiny hunter and you want to have every single shiny in the game, I would just wait until a better opportunity to get this shiny. However, if you do go ahead and try to hatch this shiny, and you do hatch some Munchlaxes that you plan on evolving into Snorlaxes, I do want to say that double moving baby Pokemon, specifically Munchlax, is going to be a lot cheaper than a Snorlax. So if you plan on double moving a Munchlax and then powering it up and evolving into a Snorlax using the Master League, whatever, double move it before you evolve it. Finally, let's talk about some platinum medal tips for this event. You need 35 platinum medals to go from level 48 to 49 Pokemon Go. What platinum medals should you work on during this event? Of course, number one, the School Kid medal. I said there was a lot of normal types spawning during this event, as well as a couple poison types, so work on your Punk medals or whatever type medals here you haven't completed. We also have a Alolan Rattata spawning in the wild, so the Youngster medal, catch 1,000 Tiny Rattatas, is going to be great to grind during this event. Tiny Rattata is a Rattata that weighs less than 2.3 kilograms. Like this Rattata right here, for example, 1.77. Catch as many Rattatas as you can see to work on this medal, and note, if you actually receive one from trade, it does count. So if you and your buddy go out, grind some Rattatas, and then mirror trade them, you guys can grind this medal really easy. As always, we have the Rising Star medal, defeat 150 species of Pokemon in raids. Take a look at the raid roster, any Pokemon here that you have not raided at least once, make sure you raid it to work on this medal. And finally, of course, some of you guys are going to be hatching a lot of eggs during this event, so the Breeder medal, hatch 2,500 eggs, will be a medal that, of course, you will, involuntarily do. Now, last thing I do want to say before you guys go is that the Team Go Rocket takeover is happening on the 14th, so next Monday it starts, and that means the Team Go Rocket leader Pokemon are going to change, and the Grunt Pokemon are going to change. If you're still trying to hunt Shadow Shiny Charmander, Shadow Shiny Bulbasaur, Shiny Shadow Squirtle, remember, this is going to be pretty much the last week, the last couple days you can try to get that. Also, on top of that, we might lose some Shadow Pokemon, so go ahead to Sylph Road, check out the Shadow Pokemon available, and try to grind any of the ones that you want to get. For example, who knows, Shadow Machop might disappear from the fighting grunts again. Take advantage of that before it goes. But that's pretty much it, guys. Those are all my tips for the Greedy Gluttons event. If I missed anything, feel free to comment below and let me know. Honestly, this event doesn't look amazing, but it is still going to be nice and a good opportunity to prep going into the Team Go Rocket event, which I'm so excited for next week. Follow us, everybody. Peace.